critical to the success of the museum?
I'm a genealogist. So when you're doing genealogy, there's two things that are important. The science of the DNA is important, but the family folklore and the family stories are also important. So what's important to the success of this is not to be confused, but to give each one, the stories, the family stories, credence, and also giving the DNA. That's what's crucial. That's what's critical, is knowing the difference between folklore and fact. And I give them both footing.
Why is it important to look to people who have lived your experience?
So there's a such thing called phenomenology, and phenomenology is studying the lived experience. And that's what anthropologists do. That's what behavioral scientists do. And so I'm always looking for the lived experience. It's important because why reinvent the wheel if someone's already gone this way before you? So it's important so that you don't repeat old mistakes and that you can benefit from things that have already taken place before you.
Do you plan to help other all-Black towns in the state of Oklahoma develop a museum like you have created here in Tatums?
That's up to them. I would love to. I haven't been invited, but I don't know them and they don't know me, but I've been all over the world gathering information for this museum. And so the information that I gather doesn't just apply to Tatum. It applies to all of the Black townships. And so, yes, I'm open for any kind of collaboration. But as of right now, I don't know them. They don't know me.
Why did you make the decision to create a museum in Tatums, Oklahoma?
That's a very complicated question because I do nothing for one or two reasons. There's usually at least a triangulation of information. But the major reason was because I studied the town at a doctoral level, and I knew that there were fantastic miracles that happened here that people don't know about. And I knew that we had a fantastic history that we didn't know about, that Hollywood gives us a narrative about ourselves that tells us that we are poor, that we are desperate, that we are none of those things. So, or, it's just not a part of who we are. That's something that was made up in another place, and that's a made up, make-believe place. And so when we see that on TV, we emulate what we see on TV. And so I wanted to give my folks something else to emulate. I wanted to tell my people who they really were, as opposed to what Hollywood tells us we are.
Tell us about how your team is organized. Who do you organize with?
My husband, he doesn't work on these projects with me, but he's there, and financially he helps me. And he's a professor and a PhD also. So we bounce ideas off of one another often. And he is also African American and from this area. So we have a lot in common in that way. So my team consists of my faith and my husband. And you can't forget that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants who gave me a lot of the information before I got started. So other teammates have been the city hall, the city council of the town of Tatum, who allowed me the space and gave me the opportunity. A few of the people here in Tatum, Mac Taylor and Bonnie Sue Hooks. But I really don't have a team. I really don't. I really need one.
How are the decisions made in the museum? Okay,
so decisions are made, since I'm a team of one, decisions are made by the triangulation of information. That sounds weird. So I'll explain it. Triangulation is 3. So if I hear something from 3 different places, so let's just say, for example, I'm walking down the street and I see a sign that says, Bajanaba. What is Bajanaba? Nobody ever heard of Bajanaba. So it's a new word. And so then, I get on a plane and I go to Kansas City and I hear somebody say, Bajanaba. Okay, so then the hair on the back of my neck is raising up because I heard that thing twice. Let's say I go to New York and I hear Bajanaba. Well, see, then that's how I zero in, kind of like a bat. I zero in on information once it's triangulated. And so that's how decisions are made. If I hear it 3 times, I don't mean, somebody whisper in my ear and then somebody else whispering. So I'm not manipulated by people. I'm saying that information is coming to me from 3 different avenues. And that's how I know I have a match, is because I'm triangulating information.
Who or what inspired you to get a doctorate degree and to work on this?
I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. And so my mother and my Aunt Betty, and just so many people in the town of Tatum. I always say I was raised by the masters because my daddy was a master sergeant in the Marine Corps. You can't get more strike than that. And my mother was a master teacher. So I was raised by the masters.